his age, but he could pass to 25 easily, right? But he brings a vibrance and energy. He doesn't only have this powerful, beautiful body that he could be a supermodel. He was a supermodel, by the way. He brings a vast amount of education. He does his work methodically and meticulously. So, Jake, without further ado, we would like to hear from you.
That was overwhelming. Thank you, everyone. As you heard from Clyde, so I will still introduce myself a little bit. As you all know me, I work here as a product trainer, and my background is in nutrition. I have been a fitness and nutrition coach for almost a decade now. I would say that I'm not a doctor or a medical practitioner, and neither of you need to be, because just like Zora shared with us, that education is something which we all deserve and which we all should seek. Same way, I would say that whatever I'm sharing with you is purely for educational purposes and is not a medical advice, is based on my experiences and studies in life. So my journey with health started when I was in college. I was a very skinny kid, and just like any other boy, I wanted to impress a lot of girls, and I started going to the gym to put on some muscles on my skeleton. And it started with that childish fantasy, and then it grew on me. Like I became a fitness freak completely, and this journey has continued so far till now in my life. I studied in abundance various clinical studies. I watched hours and hours of videos by scientists and doctors just to try and understand what goes inside our body. Why do we become sick, or why do we stay healthy? What happens when we eat food? Now, just like you, I'm also thankful to medical science and doctors all around the world for giving us science and technology and better understanding of human body. But I personally feel all of you who are sitting in this room, you all have also a personal responsibility and must have a basic knowledge or understanding of your own body. So today we are discussing about zinc, but I'm going to take you on a journey, a little bit of story which I will share with you all. So like in medieval times, when there was no science or technology available, but there still used to be sickness and disease, and people were dying in thousands. The only cure available was prayers. People used to say that pray to God and you will survive. People were praying and they were still dying in thousands because of various plagues and disease and whatnot. So just like today we have scientists, in those times there were some curious scientific minds, and they wanted to explore that what is happening to people, why are they dying of sickness, why can't we get healthy? And they started doing their own research, and some courageous scientists of those times, they started dissecting dead bodies to find out what is happening. Now in medieval time, at that time, there was a very popular disease called side sickness. People used to get acute pain on this right side of their stomach, suffer endlessly with the pain for many months and days, and then die. There was no cure for it. So the people in those times, the curious one, they started dissecting the bodies to see what is happening on the right side of the body. And they found an organ which was swollen and full of pus. Then it was discovered it was appendicitis, what we call appendicitis today. When people, they get their appendix removed and they get saved. So now once the human body was open at that time, they started seeing other parts in the body, just like we have hands and legs and whatever we can see. Then they started seeing inside the body, and they saw these little things everywhere inside the bodies. There was a heart, a liver, lungs, kidneys, and that's how different organs were given names, and that's how we are called organism. We are formed by all these vital organs inside our body. And that's how the whole scientific development started. Now the question which came to the mind of those people is that what happens to these organs that they fail and people die of the sickness? Why? What happens? Why do people get heart attack? What happens to the liver that people die of liver disease, liver cirrhosis? So their curiosity further led them into now dissecting these organs. And they started dissecting the organs. And they saw that, okay, there was mass inside it, but what? What is there? They wanted to go further into the detail of it. So that's when, like they say, that necessity is the mother of invention. What happened at that time to further see in detail what is inside those organs? Somewhere around 1590, microscope was invented. And with the use of microscope, those people started making small slides of those organs which were dissected, and they started seeing the microscopic level what is inside those organs that is making people sick. What's happening to those organs? Why are people getting heart failure? With the use of these microscope, of course, over the years you can see the development in the microscope what we have today from where it started. So with the use of these microscope when they started dissecting the organs, what they discovered were inside these organs were the cells. So in 1665, Robert Hooke was the one who first discovered cells inside these organs. So all our organs, they are composed of billions of small cells. And in these cells, like I'll show you here, this is an organ called pancreas. We all know pancreas, it releases insulin, which regulates blood sugar in our body. Now this, when you slice it like this, a small part, and put it on the slide, what you see inside these things, these are called cells. These small cells are called beta cells in pancreas. You see on this left side how people discovered what was happening in the pancreas, why people were getting diabetic. In this slide you see here the beta cells, the mass of beta cell is a lot. There are a lot of beta cells in billions. But here in case of type 1 diabetes, you see this all, these are dead beta cells. So that's how they started discovering that inside these organs, the sickness lies in the cells. So it all boils down to those small, minute cells. Here you can see in the liver. This is a liver of a healthy person. As you can see, the small pink cell is full of cells. There are 240 billion cells in a healthy liver. 240 billion. But when you slice it open and you see the liver of an unhealthy person, a person who has liver cirrhosis, can you see these white portions? These are all dead cells. A person who has liver disease like liver cirrhosis is left only with 172 billion cells. So half of his cells are dead. That's when a person gets a disease. When their organs, the cells inside, start dying. So that's how people started discovering that inside the organ, the health of the cell is what matters. How people become sick. As you can see, even our heart here, you see these cells. So what I'm trying to say is that all these organs, even in our blood, you can see red blood cell, white blood cell, everything has cells in it. But for the sake of simplicity, we gave them names like organs, like liver. Now, if I have to tell you that, okay, in this area of your stomach, 240 billion cells are doing the work of detoxifying toxins and breaking down nutrients, then I will tell you that, okay, there are 172 billion cells here which are releasing insulin. You will say what? But if I'll tell you, okay, this liver is doing this, it's much easier to understand. Pancreas is doing this, it's much easier to understand. Just like this jacket. Now, if I have to tell you, okay, today I'm wearing 4 meters of cotton woven from 3 meters of cotton yarn stitched by 4 meters of thread, and there is these two plastic buttons made by melting this much of plastic, you'll say, oh, you're wearing that, okay. But if I just say that, okay, I'm wearing a jacket, so things becomes easier. But what lies inside in our organs are these little billions of cells on which depends our health and our life. So we have to actually understand it in the simplistic form. I'm sure it's not sounding very complicated now what cells are. So how the word cell was derived also I'll tell you. This word cell, because they resemble the cell inhabited by Christian monks, the word cell is derived from Latin word cella, means small room. So Christian monks in medieval times, they used to live in these small circular cells, these small rooms, in which they had everything, their food, their meditation. They used to do everything in those cells, and those cells were called like power generators because the monks were generating so much energy. So that's how Robert Hooke named our cells, because these cells, when you see them under microscope, they are vibrating with energy. They have everything that we need. So that's why we are also called cellular beings. You must have heard this word. Human beings are cellular beings. We are composed of trillions of cells. So inside the organs now cells were discovered. Okay, fine. Why the organs fail? Because these cells are dying. So the question was, how do we maintain the health of our cells? Because if the cells are healthy, organs are healthy. Organs are healthy, we are healthy. Simple equation. So the solution was a well-balanced diet. What Dr. Vana just now discussed in the previous presentation is that importance of nutrition and well-balanced diet. Proteins, carbohydrate, fat. When we look at food, we feel hungry, right? And we just eat food. For us, it's not protein, carbs, or fat. For us, it's rice, chicken, pasta. All those food items are a form of nutrient. So, for example, chicken gives us protein, rice gives us carbs, and oils, they gives us healthy fat. We eat the food get digested in the morning. Only thing that we see is the feces which goes out in wastage, right? But what stays inside? Where does it stay inside our body? Not in our stomach all the time, right? Because after a couple of hours of eating, we feel light. When we eat, we feel heavy, okay, food is there. But after it's all gone out, what is there? What is left inside? What we call protein, fats, and carbohydrate. Where it is stored in our body. How does it give us energy? So, like earlier in the presentation, Dr. Vana discussed that proteins, in scientific names, I'll tell you, are stored in our cells as amino acids. Fats are stored as fatty acids. Carbohydrates are stored as glycogen, or you can call it glucose, or in simple language, sugar. Now, I'll give you a simple example. Clyde, I'll need you for 1 minute. So, like I discussed, in our organs, there are billions of cells which are stored, and those cells are generating energy. So right now I'm not eating food, so where do I get energy from? Let's say in the morning I had a well-balanced diet of carbohydrate, proteins and healthy fats, and those nutrients got digested and they got stored in my body. So where are they stored? Let's say for example in my muscles, there are cells, these billions of cells, small that I showed you just now. In those cells, different nutrients are stored. Okay? So when I eat carbohydrate, it's stored as glycogen in my muscle cells. And that glycogen, the purpose of that glycogen is to give me energy when I need it. And that energy is stored in the cells. Got it? So now I need energy. You push my hands down. Can you see I'm using energy right now? So where am I getting that energy from? From the glycogen which came from eating bread, which is stored in the cells of my muscles. It's not in my stomach. It comes in these muscles in the cells. So I got the energy just now from those glycogen which is stored in the cells. So am I clear till now?
Yes.
So now what I did, I got the energy. Now when I do this, how does my muscles become big from that skinny boy? Whenever I do this, I am tearing down the tissues in my muscles. Okay? Because they are doing something which they are not used to do. Okay? And when I do something like this, I tear those tissues. Now those tissues are torn. How do they repair? That's where the protein comes in. The amino acids stored in the cells, they repair the muscle tissue. So next time when I do this, my muscles will be bigger than before to deal with the same work. So that's what protein does in our cells. They help our cells to repair. Same way we have fats, the fatty acids, which are stored in various cells and they help in the development of our brain, heart and various other functions of our body, even in case of men for the production of testosterone. Thank you, Clyde. Sorry. So far we are clear about the basic anatomy of our body and how cells are what drives us as human beings. So everything that we eat from a well-balanced diet, it gets stored in our cells. Now, the simple question is that what do cells do with these amino acids or glycogen or fatty acid? Why is oxygen so important? When we breathe oxygen, the cells in our body, they uses that oxygen and burn these nutrients and generate energy. That's how cells function in our body. So if I have some issue with the liver, it means the cells in my livers are not generating optimal energy, which means I'm either not supplying them sufficient amount of nutrients, which we discussed earlier, protein, fat, carbohydrate, minerals, trace minerals, vitamins. So now I will come back to trace minerals, zinc. Zinc is one of that important mineral. Now it sounds like, zinc, copper, brass, they are in coins. What are they doing in our body? But zinc is there in almost every cell in our body, in our organs. And often we don't understand the relevance of zinc, and that's why a lot of people suffer from a lot of issues in their life. Now, I'm a big advocate of deriving your nutrients from food. Eat food, whole food, balanced diet, and everything. But it's easier said than done. I mean, for let's say my body weight, if I'm 80 kgs, I need at least 25 grams protein, 20 grams carbohydrates, 10 grams of fat, and lots of vegetables and fruits to supply the essential vitamins and minerals. I'm a working man. I have to go for a job. Do you think that the whole day my only time and focus will be to structure my well-balanced diet throughout the day? Any of you here actually follow a well-balanced diet throughout the day? No, because there are so many things. Like our life today is regulated by money. We have to make money. In medieval times, okay, if I needed food, I'll give someone rice, they will give me pulses. If I give them clothes, they will give me something else. Barter exchange was much easier. Balanced diet was possible. But in today's time, life is too busy. Let's say even if we target 2 meals of a day as a balanced diet is good enough. I would appreciate those people who can do that. But it's not possible throughout the day to follow a balanced diet. And that's why earlier, like we discussed, that necessity is the mother of invention, and that's why supplements were invented by the health industry. There is a reason why supplements were invented. Be open-minded and positive about using supplements. They are not medication, they are supplements. Supplement means something which completes what is not complete. So food is not complete, so they are called food supplement to complete what is not complete in our diet. That's why we need to take supplements to fulfill our requirement of our bodies. Now, coming back to zinc. These are some of the deficiencies which happens, which we often don't take into notice, but the reason for them most of the time is zinc deficiency. Changes in appetite, including food cravings for salty or sweet foods. A lot of us feel craving for eating chocolates or donuts most of the time. So then we have changes in ability to taste and smell as well. I've experienced this quite a lot. Then either weight gain or loss, hair loss. One of the major reasons for hair loss is zinc deficiency. Digestive problems, including diarrhea, chronic fatigue. I mean, on a daily basis, if you're feeling tired most of the time, you don't have energy because your cells are not generating that energy. There's something lacking in them, and zinc is one of that mineral. Then we have infertility. Men faces a lot of issues with infertility because of lack of zinc in their diet, especially people who are vegetarian or now a lot of people are vegan. So zinc is yes abundantly present in non-vegetarian food like chicken or eggs or fish. But people who are purely vegetarian, they don't get sufficient amount of zinc in their diet on a daily basis. Low immunity means that you catch flu or cold very easily, which means your body needs more zinc. That is a big symptom that every time there is an infection or viral symptoms going around in the air and you're the first one to catch it, you need more zinc. Poor concentration and memories, forgetting small things like forgetting your keys at home or forgetting your wallet or forgetting basic things, that is like a memory function, you need more zinc. Slowed ability to heal wounds, skin infection or irritation. If you get a small cut and it stays on your finger or hand for a long time, which means it's not healing fast and you need more zinc. Nerve dysfunction. Okay. So, like we discussed that, of course, we can get zinc from our diet every day. But most of you here are non-vegetarian. But do you eat meat every day, or is it like 3 times a week or 4 times a week, or is it every day? Who eats it every day? Every day. Okay. And like 3 or 4 times a week? Okay. So there's a way to take zinc. Now, if you're eating meat 3 or 4 times a day, so on those days you don't really need to take zinc supplement. But the days which are remaining days of your week, let's say 3 days, you don't eat meat. It doesn't mean that your body won't need zinc on those days. You still need zinc on those days. And if you ignore it, that's how slowly and slowly the deficiencies start building in your blood, in your cells. So even if you're eating meat on 4 days in a week, the remaining 3 days of the week, you must have a zinc supplement in your arsenal to supplement with zinc on those days. And especially vegetarian and vegan people, they need to supplement with zinc definitely, because in our vegetable or sources of food which are purely vegetarian, zinc is present but not in vast amount. Either you will have to eat them the whole day to get your recommended dosage of zinc. So these are some of the health benefits. I'll just explain to them in little detail. Increases immunity and fights cold. According to a study conducted, when taken for at least 5 months, zinc may reduce your risk of becoming sick with common cold completely. It acts as a powerful antioxidant that may help fight cancer. According to a study, zinc acts as a powerful antioxidant. It is an effective anti-inflammatory and antioxidant agent, help fight oxidative stress and decrease the chance for disease development, including as a cancer treatment. Especially in elderly patients, zinc benefits include its ability to support healthy cell division, preventing cancerous cell mutation and stunting tumor growth. So if you have anybody who is having any issue with cancer, make sure that they include zinc supplement in their treatment. Fights diabetes. Now, zinc plays a crucial role. It is needed to balance most hormones in our body, including insulin, the main hormone involved in the regulation of blood sugar and as a diabetes natural treatment. It also allows for proper utilization of digestive enzymes that are necessary for insulin to bind to cell. So glucose is used as fuel for the body instead of stored as fat. Anybody who has type 2 diabetes must take zinc supplement. It increases fertility. Now, zinc increases fertility. Studies, according to the scientific studies conducted, zinc plays an important role in fertility, especially modulating serum testosterone levels in men. So it's important, especially for men, if they are not eating diet rich in eggs or meat or chicken, and they are purely vegetarian, to maintain their testosterone level throughout their life. Zinc supplementation is very important because it saves you in future even from prostate cancer. Aids in nutrient absorption and digestion. Like I mentioned, that zinc is present in almost all the cells in our body. So even in our digestive tract, when we have sufficient zinc supplementation, we can absorb the nutrient much more efficiently. Helps with muscle growth and repair. I just show you the demo of muscle growth and repair. So zinc is extremely important for muscle growth and repair as well. As I mentioned just now, it prevents prostate disorder and gives relief from alopecia. So if there are issues which people are facing, that their hair are thinning out, even women, if they are feeling that their hair are thinning out, they should start implementing zinc supplementation in their day-to-day life. And it controls bone loss as well. So especially post-menopausal women who faces issues with the osteoporosis, the bones are getting weaker day by day. They must include zinc supplementation in their diet. It helps with everything in better storage of calcium in your bone tissues. So zinc is extremely important. So for Ajay, main idea behind, and I'll just show you quickly these. These are basically the RDA, which is the recommended dietary allowance of zinc. Different age groups are given here, like 14 to 18 years, 11 mg. But you can easily take around 34 mg. Then males 19 to 70 years, 11 mg. Now these are RDA, which means the recommended dietary allowance. So don't be scared that you will have a overconsumption of zinc. Yes, overconsumption happens, but only in super physiological dosages like 300 mg. Nobody is ever going to consume that much zinc through supplementation or food. These are the sources from which you can get, like you can see all these different vegetables and fruits, pumpkin seeds, and for meat eaters there is meat, shellfish, and mushrooms and dark chocolate. I would like to take dark chocolate. I actually eat them on a daily basis. Then nuts as well. But as I said, that these food sources you have to eat them in abundance, in large amount throughout the day to get your recommended dosages of zinc, which is humanly not possible. So this is exactly what I said now, that 30 milligrams or more a day. Most of the potentially harmful effects of zinc come from acute superloading of as much as 300 milligrams. So don't be scared if you're taking a dosage of 25 to 30 mg on a daily basis. And it's on sale. Okay, thank you very much.